Okay, just a quick note, okay? I think I know what happened last night on the Blog Talk radio show. Remember, I did a video before I went to work this morning, and I clearly showed you that they had me set like the switchboard was showing like I was doing a 3-hour show when I've only paid for 2. And that the show started before it was supposed to. Remember, I told you this, okay? And I showed it to you. Now, I think I know what happened, see? My account, under the account settings, is probably still on Eastern time from when I was in Florida. Catch my drift, okay? Even at the end of the show, we were still going with Florida time, and I knew that from where I'm at, so I always knew to deduct an hour because I'm an hour behind Florida when I went to my show, right? So, when I rescheduled my show, well, let's go back to when I shut the show down first to understand what happened. I shut the show down in December, and on a Tuesday, because my shows used to air from Tuesday through Saturday, and on a Tuesday, the first Tuesday that my show didn't air no more because I'd shut the show down, right? I had forgot to cancel out any other episodes that were scheduled. Blog Talk nailed me for it in an email to my email account, letting me know that I missed a show and that if it happened again, they'd cancel my account and showed me the rules and the guidelines. So I went back to my account because otherwise they would take my account completely down. I went back to my account and looked and took care of any shows that was scheduled and canceled all the shows that were scheduled and done away with them. So that wouldn't happen again, right? So now, yesterday night I bring up the show, right? Well, I went on Friday and I set up the show. Now remember, my settings is for Eastern Standard Time. Okay? I posted a video up on YouTube, everybody knows, and told them 7 o'clock Central Time, my time, would be the show, right? And I'd scheduled it for 7 o'clock, okay, which technically would be 8 o'clock Eastern Time, right? Which means if I didn't catch it, I would show up at 7 o'clock my time. It would be 8 o'clock Eastern Time, which means the show would have already aired for 1 hour. Do you catch my drift? Okay? Blog Talk comes along and kicks the show back an hour to start an hour sooner. Okay? So they come along, seen that I was bringing the show back, knew that I had a strike on me. So they set their computer to start my show an hour sooner than it was supposed to, thinking that he's going to come on at 7 o'clock his time because he said so in his video. He's under Eastern time. He forgot that, which means he's going to miss an hour of his show, and if we kick it back 1 hour, he will miss his entire show. That'll be a second strike. We can pull his account down, and he'll never get his show off the ground. So, yesterday morning when I got up, dawned on me I might still be under Eastern time, so I went and looked. And I checked my switchboard to see how many hours to show time. And I was clearly under Eastern time, right? So I went to my scheduled shows and edited them back 1 hour. Okay, edited them back an hour so that it would still start at 7 o'clock my time. Okay, instead of... Okay, so what I did is I edited it back an hour because Eastern time's ahead of me, 1 hour. 1 hour ahead, right? So I reduced my show back an hour, okay? Well, Blog Talk never went back and looked at my page. They had went and looked at my page, seen my setting, and seen I scheduled for 7. Knew I told everybody that 7 o'clock Central. They knew I was under Eastern. So they knew when it was 7 o'clock my time when I hit the show, that it would be 8 o'clock Eastern, the show would have already aired an hour. So if they dropped it back 1 hour, it would have aired 2 hours, I would have missed another show. They could cancel my account. Bam, gone. I'm history, right? But they didn't look to see that I had edited the show back. Okay? So when I edited the show back yesterday morning, that means instead of 8 o'clock Eastern time, which would be, because I edited it back that hour, that means it would have started at 7 o'clock my time. Right? Because I took it back an hour. Because originally I scheduled it for 7 o'clock. But it was under Eastern time when I was thinking 7, which I'm an hour behind that, which means it would have been 8 o'clock. I hope I didn't confuse you there. See, when it's 7 o'clock here in Iowa, it's 8 o'clock in Florida. Catch my drift? I scheduled it thinking Iowa time, 7. They knew that. So they thought when I showed up, they would start at 6 because that would be 7 in Florida. See what I'm saying? So they draw it back an hour. They set their computer to draw the show back an hour so that technically it would have started at 5 Eastern time, which would be 6 here. And by the time I came on, well, you know, if I waited to close to 7 o'clock, which would have been close to 8, my show would have been over. Do you see what I'm saying? The 2 hours would have been up. Because you would be going, okay, 6, 7, 8. There's 2 hours. I scheduled it for 7. That was Eastern time. I wasn't thinking about that at the time. So 7, 8, 9. From 7 to 9, right? They knew that because of the video I posted. And they knew that if they dropped it back an hour to start an hour earlier, that I would already be an hour late. That means if I was an hour late and started an hour sooner, that'd eat up 2 hours. So I'd miss my show, that would violate the rules, and they would cancel my account and throw me off. But they didn't go in and look to see that I had edited my show back an hour to make the difference. Okay? So this says what happened is I set the show up Friday, posted the video Friday, sometime Friday or Saturday. Blog Talk set up the computer to start my show an hour sooner, thinking I would be an hour late already because I told everybody Central. They looked at my account and seen my settings were for Eastern. They seen I'd scheduled it for 7. That means it would be 8 o'clock my time. Okay, or 6 o'clock my time. You know what I'm saying? When it's 7 o'clock there. I was waiting till 7 o'clock to show up. That means it would be 8 o'clock in Florida. And if they started my show an hour earlier without me knowing it, that would be a 2-hour show. That means I would miss my show. That means they could use that to take my account down. What they didn't count on and they didn't go look was to see that I had actually edited my show back to make the difference, because I realized yesterday morning when I got up that I might be under Eastern time, so I went and looked. And I was, and I edited it back so that it would start when it was supposed to start. But Blog Talk had already set the computer to do what it did. So that would also explain the switchboard showing my show almost being a 3-hour show. See, because I edited it back. Switchboard don't know the difference, because they used their computer and set it to start my show to actually start an hour sooner than what it was supposed to, figuring I was going to come an hour late. So if they had me come an hour late because of my mess up, because I thought I was under Central and I was under Eastern, right? I would be an hour late. And if they made my show start an hour before I was scheduled to be there, then it would have run 2 hours by the time I showed up, and I would have missed the show. That's what they wanted. So that makes sense for the switchboard, and that's why the switchboard showed a 3-hour show. Because I edited it back an hour. They set their computer to kick it on an hour sooner. Knowing that I wouldn't be there. And it could have aired an hour before I was there. Do you see what I'm saying? And then, of course, I would be late an hour because I thought I was under. So when I came on at 7 o'clock, the show would have been over, or ending. I would have missed the show. But because I edited the show back to start at 7 my time, that's why the show started when it started last night. Out of nowhere, the number changed and it started. Because they set the program up to start my show an hour before I was going to be there, not realizing I'd edited my show back, and I was sitting there. And the timer was working right because I had edited it back, and I had 15 minutes to go before the show started, when suddenly everything went haywire and it jumped up like I had a 3-hour show, and that's why it confused me. But I was thinking hard about this today, and now I know what happened. So I want to bring that to your attention. Blog Talk gave a very valid effort to make me violate their rules so they could close my show down for good. And by doing so, they would have shut my show down for good. But they didn't go double check their own work. Because if they'd double-checked it yesterday morning, they would have found out that I realized I was under probably Eastern time and edited my show back an hour so it would start when I said it would start, which means I was going to be there on the switchboard. And they thought I wouldn't be. So that's why it started sooner than it was supposed to start, because Blog Talk set their computer to do it and didn't go back to look. They knew that it would flag me when I missed the show. And of course I didn't miss the show, so it didn't flag me, right? But I have to say, nice try, Blog Talk. Nice try. I guess I must be doing something right for people to hate me so much in high positions that they deliberately go out of their way to stop me from doing my show.